Calvin?
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. When you talk about moving forward, today's practice, is this that part of the process? How difficult will it be, or is it easy? What do you think about that?
You know, I think most of us, I know myself, I'm excited to get back out there and just, do what I love to do with the people I love doing it with. I think the players feel that way. We had good energy this morning in the meetings. The meetings were very productive, and like I said yesterday, we're ready to get this week underway and put our best foot forward, getting ready to honor Marshawn.
Is there a certain point where you say you have counselors and all that? Will they be here throughout the course of the season, or you tell the counselors just be here until as long as we?
Yeah, we'll provide whatever our guys need. The answer is there's people always in the building, and we can get more if we need them. But, again, I think I was really encouraged by our guys this morning. They were back shooting hoops and stuff this morning before meetings, and the energy was good. So, again, I think, like I said to them, we're not done honoring, Marshawn. But we have business to take care of, and the best way of honoring him is to take care of business.
Brian, Ali Jawad, DLLS. Just looking at Monday's matchup, there's a lot of familiarity for you on that sideline with Pete Carroll and his sons, and Joe Philbin as well. Just in general, how does it feel to go up against those guys, especially one being your former boss who you learned under for a couple years?
Yeah, I mean, they're people I'm very close to. I've talked glowingly about Pete, and I feel that way. It'll be great to see him. And again, it's just that's the best part of this business is the people side of it, and that's what I really look forward to. You guys know me; I'm a people person, but I love getting to see those guys before or after the game and just getting a chance to catch up. And he's been so instrumental to me in my career and how I view my job and my position here with the Cowboys that I've talked to him, but I haven't really probably shared with him how much he means to me, and I will.
Brian Thomas with ESPN. With Overshown and coming back, do you temper expectations? Do you expect him to be the guy you saw last year before he got hurt? How do you view what he's been able to do and what he can do?
I just want him to play free. I really do. I can't answer that question, Todd. I don't want to put too much pressure on Demo. He hasn't played in a long time, but he hasn't forgotten how to play either. But I will know this: he will be running to the football. He will be making plays, and but we're going to be smart. Is it fair to say he's going to play the entire game? Maybe. We'll see. But there is kind of a, ramp up pitch count that we have to see how he's feeling. But he can't wait. He's really excited along with the other guys.
How have you guys gone about getting Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson up to speed since coming on board with the bye week and obviously everything that's transpired? Yeah, again, both those guys are veterans. It's been a little bit maybe unusual. Just the good news is Quinnen obviously knows A-Dub. He's been around A-Dub, so there's some translation there. Logan's very, very bright. He's been around football for a long time. But I've just been blown away by both Logan and Quinnen's professionalism. You talk about two guys excited to come into a new program, new situation, and then, of course, the tragedy happens, and those guys have been just incredible through this whole moment. And I know Quinnen talks all the time about his faith, and you can see how real that is to him. But in terms of them being ready, they'll be ready from a mental standpoint, and I'm excited to watch them move around today.
John Machota with The Athletic. You're obviously in a difficult spot, having to try and help the team move forward and doing things the right way. How do you know what to do, and do you lean on somebody else, or how do you what's kind of like guiding you through this process?
It's a good question. John, I think I try to lean on my instincts. I think I have pretty good instincts. I wish I could talk to my pops. I actually do talk to my pops some in prayer and things like that. But I have people I talk to. But honestly, I talk a lot to the players. I love those guys, man. And they're the ones that matter the most to me. How you doing? How you feeling? What are you feeling? And again, their energy today fuels me and feeds my spirit to where I can walk up here today and feel, more like myself than I did, yesterday. And each day helps the healing process. Does that mean that we're going to have guys that go out there today and don't have, a lot of emotions? No, there'll be a lot of emotions. tomorrow, the next day, Monday night before we kick off, there'll be emotions. But it's my job to kind of prepare those guys on what to expect as well. Like, I want them to know what we're doing, which I will share with them as it gets closer. What are we doing to honor Marshawn before the game, just so they can kind of prepare for when it happens, because they deserve that. And I want them to be able to go in this game and play the game the way they love to play, which is free, with their hair on fire, running the football and being physical.
And then, will today be a typical practice like you normally have? I guess, with it being a Monday night game, this will be more like a Thursday, but is that how it will be, or is there anything changed about today?
It's a little shorter, just because we haven't done football for a while. They moved around yesterday, or 2 days ago, which was good. It's going to be a little shorter, about 90 minutes. It's normally an hour and 45, and we'll make up for that some tomorrow with the mock and things like that. But today's really about kind of getting back, letting these guys focus. My big push to them this morning was this game's going to come down to execution. We have to execute. If we execute well, I feel good about it, and that starts with fundamentals. So you'll see us do a lot of fundamental work out there today, but we'll get the team stuff in, and it's kind of a Wednesday for us. So today will be a first and second down emphasis, leading into a normal flow of a 7-day week.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. I know you don't want to give away everything, but as far as the bye week and being able to maneuver everything that's happened, what changes were you guys able to talk about and get implemented throughout the bye week?
Yeah, again, I think, the biggest thing is we kind of have a better idea of the things, not just statistically, but watching the film, Nick, that we were pretty good at, that our guys are comfortable with, that we execute at a high level. There's basically, all these stats, but where you have a win and a loss, and so first, second down, a win would be 4 yards or more on offense, less than 4 on defense, and you kind of look at the stats, then you watch the video, and I think we figured out some things that we really do know that we could do at a high level, and we maybe need to do more of that as a coaching staff. And it's just a chance for you to kind of catch your breath and look back at the video. But the video is so powerful because it tells you, hey, hey, we're not good at this, and so let's stop doing that and let's do more of this. And again, you're right, I'm not going to give you any answers to the test, but there were a number of glowing things that we've learned.
You talked yesterday about how getting back on the grass can be therapeutic. Is there a time in your life you can think back to when that's sort of the case for you?
Not really. It's just always been my escape. When that's why when I lost my dad, I ended up taking a job in Jacksonville, when in reality I wasn't planning on doing that. It's your escape. It's what you love to do. It's what you're great at. It's what you find comfort in. And there's a lot of things I love to do, but one of my favorite things to do is coach football and be around these guys.
Tommy Arstoss, Cowboys.com. What have you seen from Savon the last couple of weeks of practice, and how does it being his first NFL game kind of maybe go into how much you want to use him on Monday?
Well, I've seen the talent. The size jumps out at you. The speed jumps out at you. Again, a little bit like Demo, but probably even a little bit more being smart. Is he's going to play. We want him to play, and I think he'll play well. But he is young. He is a rookie. He plays a very difficult position. But I just love the way he shows up every day with a smile on his face. He works. A lot of times the workouts they're doing with Britt, are harder than what we do on the practice field. We do that for a reason, because we want those guys coming back as soon as they can. But I don't think it'll be too big for Von. I think he's looking forward to it. But we'll be smart with how we use him.
And then Ashton Genty's a local kid, and he was talked about a lot in the draft process here. What have you seen from him this season, and how much of a challenge is that going to be?
Yeah, the guy's exactly what you saw at Boise State. They've had a little bit of a hard time, getting the running game going, but he runs hard. He's physical. He can make you miss. He's powerful. He's hard to bring down. But the talent is there, and you can see why so many teams coveted him and why he went 6th overall. And knowing Pete, you can see why they made that move to get him.
Yeah. Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. In regards to Savon, anytime you get a rookie, there's a learning process about what they do once they get in your building. Obviously, with the injury, you didn't really see much on the field. What have you learned from him just in the last 21 days with him being on the field about what he could potentially do?
Yeah, again, I think the press man-to-man is what the first thing that jumps out at you. Again, he gets a chance to cover, GP and CD and those guys, every day, but he's so comfortable and confident when he's in press man-to-man. Like, number one, he's got incredible length, so he can use his hands, which allows him to control receivers and things like that. But a lot of guys play very much a mirror technique, and it's just different ways you teach it on defense. Schemes are different, but like, he is very comfortable because of his size, length, and speed, that he's one of the more aggressive corners that I've seen, especially for a young corner. And that gets you excited, because if you can throw off the timing of the passing game or disrupt the receiver's initial route stem, then the pass rush has a chance to get home to the quarterback. And then, of course, we like his ball skills.
You said before the bye there'd be more changes when the bye happened. Obviously, Nick kind of asked about that. What was the process for installing these things? Was it, hey, when you guys leave the facility for the bye, here are the things I want you to know? What was the process for installing?
Yeah, really the biggest thing was just hitting the highlights to the players. As we started today, really you try to just group it. Today's a first, second down day, so we hit some of the things that jumped out of our first and second down study on both sides of the ball, run game, pass game, protection-wise, getting after the quarterback. But we didn't go, too much into it. We just hit the highlights. Like, we didn't hand them the big packet that says all the different reports that we wrote up. It was more hitting the highlights of different things that we think will make the biggest difference in us playing at a high level over these next couple weeks.
Garrett.
Here, Podell, CBS Sports. Hey, Brian. Dak, the last couple of games, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, but before that, 13 touchdowns, no picks in the previous 4 games. Kind of in your film review, as you mentioned, what have you seen from Dak this season, and what do you think you guys need to do to get him back playing more like those prior 4 games?
Yeah, I think, Garrett, when you look at it, it's really the type of games we've had to play the last 2 games against Denver, and, we got behind in both games and had to kind of play catch up, and unfortunately, there's not many guys that are going to, play at a high level. That's not how we want to play, certainly. We want to be a team that can run the football and use our action passing game and, make people guess. And it feels like really for most of the second half of Denver, and then certainly the last quarter against Arizona, we were playing mostly 2-minute, and that's hard. When they know you're going to pass and you have to pass, and everyone in the stadium knows you're going to pass, it's difficult. So the biggest thing I would say is just, we got to do a good job on first down in this game. That's going to be a big part of it, win first down. And I think that allows us, on defense and offense, as play callers, me and Flus, to be able to control what we want to do instead of the defense having the control of the offense when you're ahead or behind.
What goes into winning on first down?
Execution. You got to run the ball well. You can't have self-inflicted wounds. You can't have penalties. You can't have, things like that. You got to throw completions. Doesn't mean you just check the ball down. You go through your progression. But for us, really in this game, it's going to be, a lot of things that we're very comfortable with. It's been a unique week, to say the least. And I think that's why coming off the bye and knowing what we do well and what we kind of don't is a good formula, I believe, for this week.
Yeah.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. You mentioned meetings this morning and the vibe was pretty good. What are you going to be looking for on the practice field that makes you feel like these guys are beginning that process or continuing that process of moving forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about it because I just don't think there'll be much that's different. There'll be music on out there. I'll be jumping around and do what I normally do. And again, I think these guys are going to be excited to be out there with their brothers and doing what they love to do. I've said it's not just a distraction for me. It's a distraction for them. You listen to these guys talk. These guys a lot of them have lived through a lot of tragedy in their life, and their escape is to come and be in the locker room with their brothers, put their helmets on, go out to the practice field. And again, we might be feeling a lot of emotions. I'm sure we will. But my hope and what I believe is that it won't feel that different.
Jeff Cole with Fox Sports. Kind of going right off of that, Coach, with not changing some of the things like you're talking about in practice. You said yesterday there's no playbook for navigating forward with this. How much advice have you taken from some of the grief counselors around, and what, if any, has resonated most about how to handle this?
Yeah, quite a bit. I think what they talk about is everybody's different, but you have to stay true to who you are. I'm a very authentic person, and I am who I am, and I'm not going to change for anybody, whether we win, we lose. In this situation, you lose a family member. Because I only know one way to do it. And I think if I'm not who I am, the players are going to read that. And my job as the leader is to stand up front and be the first one that takes accountability, responsibility for the things we don't do well, and passes the responsibility and the praise to them, because that's what they deserve. So I'm always going to be me, and I'm never going to change. And I think we've got a lot of guys. I know, talking to a number of the leaders, man, they're like, we're done talking, we want to play. And that as a coach gets you excited.